Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, PIMCO Asset-Based Lending Company LLC P.A.B.L.C just filed an 8K report, and I am seeing a key corporate change that matters. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company is wrapping up one of its investment series, and it's important to understand what that means for them going forward. So, on the 15th of June 2026, PIMCO Asset-Based Lending Company LLC, which we will just call the company from now on, made some significant updates. The big news here revolves around the conclusion of one of their investment vehicles, specifically PIMCO Asset-Based Lending Company LLC, Series I, or Series I for short. Think of Series I like a specific fund or pool of investments under the larger company umbrella. To handle the winding down of Series I, the company entered into a new operating agreement. This is essentially an update to the rulebook for how the company operates. The key reason for this update is to reflect the official end, or what they call liquidation, wind-up, and dissolution of Series I. This means Series I is officially closing its doors and distributing its assets and closing out its business. And to make it official, on the same day, they filed a Certificate of Cancellation. This document was filed with the state of Delaware, which is where the company is incorporated. This filing officially cancels Series I as a registered part of the company. It is like getting the final stamp to say Series I is no longer an active entity. Along with the operating agreement, they also updated their main limited liability company agreement, or LACA. This is the foundational document that governs the whole company. This update also specifically addresses the dissolution of Series I and the retirement of all the V shares associated with Series I. V shares likely represent ownership units or particular classes of shares related to Series I. By retiring them, they are closing out those specific ownership stakes. Now, when a company goes through significant changes like winding down a series, it often impacts agreements with its leadership. The company updated its indemnification agreements for its directors and executive officers. This means they revise the terms that protect these individuals from legal costs or liabilities they might face in their roles. These updates are to reflect the Series I dissolution and other changes that came along with updating their main operating rules. The company also adjusted its Distribution Reinvestment Plan, or DRIP. A DRIP allows investors to automatically reinvest their dividends or distributions back into buying more shares of the company. Updating this plan is crucial because the dissolution of Series I will change how distributions are handled, or potentially discontinued for that series. Similarly, they revised their share repurchase plan. This is the plan that allows the company to buy back its own shares from the market. Adjustments here would likely be to account for the conclusion of Series I and any potential impact on the company's capital structure or share availability. And finally, they updated their subscription agreements. These are the contracts new investors sign when they agree to invest in the company. They updated these for both US and non-US investors. These changes are described as administrative and also related to the Series I dissolution. This means the process for new investors joining the company might have seen some streamlining or adjustments due to the Series I wind down. The filing also included a standard special note regarding forward-looking statements. This is basically a legal disclaimer telling you that some of the statements in the report are about the future. They use words like anticipate or expect to signal these. The company cautions that actual results could be different from what these forward-looking statements suggest, due to many factors including economic changes, unforeseen events like natural disasters, or new laws. They are saying that while they believe their future predictions are reasonable, things can always change, and they are not promising that everything they say about the future will definitely happen. They also mention they do not have to update these statements unless the law requires it. The very last part of the filing is the exhibit list, which just shows all the supporting documents. We see the Certificate of Cancellation, the updated LLC agreement, the operating agreement, the indemnification agreement form, the updated distribution reinvestment plan, the share repurchase plan, and the updated subscription agreements for both US and non-US investors. There is also an exhibit for interactive data. The report is signed by Jason Mandanak, who is identified as the principal executive officer. This is the person primarily responsible for the company's overall business operations. The filing date for this signature is the 17th of June 2026, just 2 days after the events reported. So, what does all of this mean? The PIMCO Asset-Based Lending Company LLC isn't going away. Instead, they are efficiently closing down one of their investment series, Series I. This is a normal part of the life cycle for investment funds, allowing them to return capital to investors and simplify their structure. The updates to their agreements are standard procedures to align with this change. While there are no direct financial tables in this particular filing to analyze, the actions described signal a corporate housekeeping item. The company appears to be prudently managing its life cycle and operational structure. The key takeaway is that Series I is concluding its operations, and the main company is making the necessary adjustments to reflect this. It is a sign of maturation and orderly closure for that specific investment vehicle. On the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description.